this is Yumiko with Gathered, and today I'm back to show you my April sewing projects. If you saw my video, I was talking about 3 different projects. I was able to accomplish 2 of them. The third one, actually the second one too. 2 of them I changed my direction. And so the linen is, that will be soon to come. It's a little bit more involved project. But first of all, I'll show you the best one, which is the Liberty London fabric, which I used to make the Republique du Chiffon jean top. And I'm really so pleased with how it came out. I'm still not sure about the green buttons, but out of my stash of buttons, this was the best one. And you know, sometimes you do something you wouldn't it wouldn't be your first pick, but you find that you really like it later. So I'm not quite sure. I think right now I like it, the way it pops out like that, because it really emphasizes the detail here. So what can I tell you about this? Overall, it came out even better than the first one, I feel like, just because the fabric is, this Liberty London fabric is just so beautiful and drapey. It's so lightweight, but it has this wonderful drape to it. And I think I noticed that most, of course, in the areas where there's a lot of gathering, and also just in the fullness of the sleeve. In my other, in my first version, which was a wearable muslin, I'll show you that to you. I was a little bit on the fence about the sleeve because in this fabric, which is kind of more of a broadcloth, or maybe more like a heavier lawn, or more like a poplin, I should say, somewhere between a lawn and a poplin. Feels definitely like pajama fabric, and this sleeve, because of its width and the way it was draping, it felt like a pajama. So I was thinking of, oh, maybe I find a way to secure it with a button here, or make it a little bit wider, you know, add a little bit more width and gather it up. But when I got to this point, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll gather it up, I really like the drape, and it feels really comfortable. Whereas I think sometimes when you have something here that's very secure, it can kind of restrict your arm movement a little bit. So anyways, I think I'm just going to stay with this and leave it open. One of the things I really love about this pattern is how they instruct you to attach the peplum to the waistband, and they do it in such a way that is opposite to a lot of patterns that I've used, where you're actually sewing it on the inside, flipping it outward, and then attaching here. You're sewing it here. Typically it would be the opposite way, where you would sew the outside seams together and flip it inward, and then try to either stitch in a ditch or top stitch it. This way is a lot easier, because the finished side is what you're doing last, and you get to see how that's coming along. It's not kind of a mystery. Is you get this really nice little shadow, and I think of it as kind of an expensive detail. You basically get a little bit of overlap, and it just kind of refines it a little bit more. It's really quite nice. So what else? The other thing to do, just another little thing, is, of course, if you don't have enough fabric, just use a different one. I did that both here and here, because I want to really save as much as I can. I have actually enough to make another shirt, and I just might make another one of these, because I find that when I've found the right fabric that works so well with a pattern, I often regret that I didn't make 2 of them. Or, you know, when you get that perfect garment and you wish, oh, I wish I'd bought 2 of those because I would wear that. I could wear it so many more years, right? So I might do that with this, is make it again, because I think I have enough. Let's see, what else? So one of the other things I was going to make is a square neck top by Friday Pattern Company, and I was going to use that blue stripe fabric. But when it came down to it, I had a little concern about the stripe and that horizontal line, and I decided to make something else, which made a t-shirt. Actually, it's a Vogue pattern that is a dress, and I just shortened it and made it into a top. Overall, I think it's a fine t-shirt. It works out well. It has this really nice seam in the back that gives it a little bit more shape. I think I would have opened it up a little bit more. It's kind of this weird in-between place, this neckline. Like, it would have been more dramatic if it was maybe a little bit broader or something. But it's just a t-shirt. It came together quickly, and it's fine. The square neck pattern, I have made it a couple times, and using other fabric, and so I just wanted to show you this one here, fabric I got from Stone Mountain and Daughter. It is kind of has this really interesting kind of day glow speckle in it. The pattern is really great. It uses such little fabric. It only uses like about a half a yard. Half a yard to 5/8 of a yard. So this pattern is not only easy to sew, and I think it's flattering for many people, different body shapes. It is also a really wonderful way to use like that remnant that you have that you don't really want to throw it away, but half a yard, 5/8 of a yard, this is perfect. I made it in I have this remnant fabric that I bought from New York a long time ago. I just had a little bit of it left. And so I was a little bit short on the back, and what I did was I just added a little seam and added a panel on the back, and that allowed me to make this out of a very small amount of fabric. It's a great pattern. One thing I would mention is I found this to be a little bit low cut for me. You know, I found that if I'm bending over to look at something, you get a lot of exposure. So it's one of those things where, you know, maybe when you're wearing it, you have to be self-conscious of that, which I don't like. I just want it to be comfortable and not have to worry about that. So what I did on this particular shirt is I brought it up. I shortened the shoulder seam by about 3/8 of an inch, maybe it was half an inch, which solved the problem beautifully. But I just noticed this recently, it's a little tight here. So if you want to solve that problem, if you find that you have that problem, what I would recommend is just taking it in a little bit here to lift up that neckline, but then taper out when you're stitching to leave this as it was, because I think what's really cute about that pattern is that fullness in the armhole. It creates a really nice shape. And so, you know, that's a good way to solve the problem and still keep that really nice design. What else? I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for checking in, and I hope you guys are doing well and are keeping healthy and are getting to do a lot of sewing. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.